So, what made you choose this place?
It's a good spot.
So it has nothing to do with that billboard behind you.
Oh my God.
Oh my God, it's you.
Crazy.
Rolling down the street, smoking on endo.
How does your family feel about your career?
My mom's Haitian, so if it's not General Hospital, she ain't checking for it.
I handle my own life. You work on yours. Not sure how to put this better. This Can't Be Us isn't being renewed for another season.
I was a series regular on a hit show.
And then you sat your ass down, right?
I don't have time to audition right now. I'm busy.
All right, Shifters. So my name is Donna HC, Head of Content Development at Shifter Magazine. And today I have the pleasure, the honor, and the privilege to welcome Mike Gauyo to the Shifter Talk here. Mike, thank you very much for taking the time to talk to us.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
It's a real pleasure, my friend. First of all, I just want to start with this. So your name is Mike Gauyo.
Yes. Oh, come on, pronunciation.
My name is Vladimir Jean-Gilles.
Oh, Vladimir. Okay.
So you already know where I'm going with that, man. Like, you Haitian?
Yeah, fam. Yes. I love it. Tak passé.
Enfant, nous là, enfant, yo. 540, what? So, my man, so obviously, you know, discovering, like, I saw the Gauyo name and how it was pronounced. I said, okay, my boy, he's Haitian. So, as a fellow Haitian myself and who's also a writer, all that kind of stuff, first of all, it's an honor to talk to you. And the first question I have to ask for all the Haitians out there, you know, how did you find yourself into writing in entertainment rather than Dr. Avocat Ingénieur?
Yeah. The more traditional path. That's a really good question. You know, I feel like growing up, I was groomed to go to medical school, to become a doctor. That was the only thing that my parents, you know, ever ingrained in me. It's the only path that I ever really saw. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it wasn't until I got to college and was like, okay, so this pre-med thing is not going to work out. It's like organic chemistry, all that's not my jam. It's not going to work out. But I grew up writing. I grew up loving to write. I just didn't see a pathway towards that thing. You know, I didn't see people that looked like me that were doing that. I didn't know what was happening behind the scenes, how it was made. You know, so I kind of just put that aside and just went full force towards becoming a doctor. But once I got to college, like I said, it just wasn't fitting. It's just not what I wanted to do. I wasn't passionate about it. So I changed my major to theater with like a concentration in creative writing. And my parents were like, excuse me?
Yeah, how did that go?
So, you know, it actually went well. It went pretty well. I think the thing for my parents is it's not a lack of support. It's just more so a lack of understanding. They don't understand why you wanted to do this creative job. They don't have an understanding of what it means. Like, okay, so you want to be an actor? It's like, no, mom and dad, I'm writing. So it's like, okay, so we're not going to see you on TV. So it's just, they don't have an understanding of the world. So a lot of the times, really what they want for you is financial stability. They want a certain level of prominence that comes with your position. They want, you know, they moved to this country, to the US for financial stability, for you to be okay. So for you to come to them and be like, yeah, I'm gonna go write. And they're like, no, my son's been a struggle for the rest of his life.
Yeah.
That's the mindset, you know? But to be able to do everything that I've done so far and show it to them, and, you know, they see that, oh, my son's writing for Insecure, he's on HBO. It's like, oh, Netflix, like my son's on Netflix. You know what I mean? Like things like that, like makes them proud and makes them feel like it's something that they can share. But it also shows them that there's some financial security in what I'm doing. So they're good. They are much better about it now.
Well, God bless your parents, man. I really love hearing that. As a fellow Haitian who is in that field, it's very heartwarming to, especially the way you describe understanding versus support. And sometimes, you know, we tend to resent our parents for one or the other. It's important to see the difference between the two. Now, to dive.
Also, before we go, it's also important to forge ahead too. Like if you are in this position and your parents are challenging you or challenging what you do. Because before I got to this point, my parents were like, Michael, vin la kayo. Like, then my parents were like, come home, like it's not working out in LA. Just come on home. Like, you know, go back to school, all that. Like, I heard all of that. But you really have to be vigilant about the things that you want and just keep forging ahead, because you know that that's the path that you should be on, you know, and that it's going to bear fruit or continue to bear fruit or make you happy. So at the end of the day, it's about your own happiness. And, you know, of course, we all want to make our parents proud, but there's no but. We're still able to do that just by, you know, forging ahead with the plan that we already have in mind, you know.
I like that. I like that. No, thank you very much for these words. I needed to hear them today. So thank you. On another note, just to go into your, before we go into, you know, this new series that you're working on that I can't wait to talk about as a fellow Haitian who loves to see my people doing big things, you know. What was the path like for you? Again, you've been on Insecure. You wrote for Insecure. You also wrote for Ginny and Georgia, which is a show that I was not expecting to love this much, but I did, especially because of the writing. So finding out that the Haitian did that, I'm like, that's right. That's right.
Listen, right. We're writing all types of shows, okay?
Yeah.
No, thank you so much.
So tell us about how that came about, like working on these shows, and what were these experiences like?
Both experiences were great. The journey to getting there, you know, it's a longer story, but I'll try to give you the short version. So when I moved to LA, I moved wanting to write, but the jobs that I were getting were in reality TV. So before I moved, while I was in Boston, I was working as a production assistant for American Idol. They were doing their like Boston audition tours. You know how they tour around the US.
Yeah.
And I happened to be in Boston, and I PA'd for them for like 2 days. While PAing for them, I told them, hey, I'm moving to LA in a month. And they said to me, well, once you move, come work with us. So as soon as I moved, I had a job. So I worked on American Idol for, I want to say like 2 years. And I also worked on So You Think You Can Dance because they were the same production company. So when I would do American Idol from September to May, I would then jump on So You Think You Can Dance from May to September and then cycle back into American Idol again. Do you know what I mean? So it was steady work, and it was like grunt work, and I was okay with it because I was like, okay, this is what I'm doing. This is where I want to be. This is the industry I want to be in. So I'm just going to continue to grind, you know? So after a couple of years doing that, I was like moving up a little bit, and like I was just the regular PA and went on to being the script PA. But the thing is, there isn't a lot of writing in reality, you know, not the type of writing that I wanted to do. There's some, but there's, you know, not exactly what I wanted to do.
Wait, are you saying that reality TV is fake? Are you saying?
Well, the thing is, competition reality TV isn't fake. Like American Idol, you know, So You Think You Can Dance, those competition shows aren't fake. Everything that the host says has to be written for them. You know what I mean? So those parts of the show are written. You know, what the judges say aren't written, but what the hosts like Kat Deely or like Ryan Seacrest, with the words that are coming out of their mouth are written for them. So that's like the written component of the show. So for me, I didn't realize that the scripted world and the reality TV world barely like intermingled, you know? So I kind of had to start over and start networking in the scripted world. And that's when I met Issa, and she gave me my first writing opportunity on this scripted podcast she was doing called Fruit. So we, you know, throughout the years kept in touch. I wrote on Fruit for 2 seasons. I had written on the BSU, which was a web series that she was doing for Issa Rae Presents, which was fun to work on. And then in that time, I became a writer's assistant on Claws, the TNT show. My boss on Claws at the time got me my first manager, and that manager got me as a staff writer on Ginny and Georgia. Okay. So that was great. And then by the time Insecure season 5 was coming around, it was a great like full circle moment. And then I interviewed for season 5 of Insecure and got on as a writer for the final season. You
Okay.
know, so the journey's been long, but it's been a grind, and I'm just grateful to be here. But to your question, though, both experiences were great. Insecure is a half-hour show. Ginny and Georgia is an hour dramedy show. So it's been nice to be able to work in both hour and half-hour television, and we're just grinding, man. And then I ended up developing Send Help with my good brother and friend Jean-Elie. And it's something that we tackled together and put a lot of effort and time into, and now that thing is coming out tomorrow, Thursday.
Yeah. Well, talk to us about that thing. Send Help. So Send Help, if I understand correctly, we're seeing it's a series that follows an Haitian American, again, struggling to overcome challenges of making it to Hollywood while coming to terms with family tragedy. Haitian American living in LA, I believe, right?
Yeah, absolutely. You got it.
It parallels a little bit of reality. I want to know how much of you is really in this show.
Well, that's the thing, were you able to watch any? Did you get the first episode or anything? Were you able to watch anything yet?
I don't think so. No.
Okay, so let's see if we can get you a screener. But the thing is, you'll see a lot of yourself. You know what I mean? You'll see a lot of the dynamics of between you and your mom or you and your parent, and it'll feel really familiar,
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of that we injected into the show, like a familiarity of like, okay, wow, I see that myself, or I know that person, The show is loosely based on Jean-Elie's life, so it's already semi-autobiographical, and then I added some of my own family elements, the things between myself and my mom, or myself and my family and my friends. And then the writer's room added their kind of like input and their perspective on things, which really made the show fully dimensional. So although we're telling a very unique and specific story about this one Haitian American man, it comes across very universal and something that all types of people can connect to.
I'm really excited about it because we don't see a lot of Haitians on TV, especially represented in a way that you can emotionally relate to them in a way that's not stereotypical either. You know what I mean? I'm a Haitian man. I'm a writer. I'm a Haitian man in the entertainment industry, and it's particular to our own life. It's very specific. There are specific things that we understand. That's why I was so excited to talk to you, because there are specific things that we understand and that I'm really looking forward to see translated on screen. Mm-hmm. What are some of the things that you're the most excited about in regards to the release of this new series?
I think you just said it. I'm excited about people to kind of like get an opportunity to see themselves, to see Haitian American people normalized on TV in a way that's not a stereotype or a caricature or something like negative you've heard on the news. You know what I mean? It's just us existing and living as everyone else does, and it's experiencing the Haitian family dynamic, Caribbean family, West Indian family dynamic, any immigrant family dynamic that exists. Multiple people are able to really connect to this. And the other thing that you're saying too is like, when I started to step into the entertainment space, especially as a Haitian person, I felt alone, because I felt like, okay, well, who else is navigating this space? Who else is in here? And then once I moved to LA, I started to find a tribe of people like Jean-Elie or Bashir Sylvain or Daheli Hall or Jeff Augustine. Like, there are so many Haitian creatives in LA and clearly just around the world. That we're not alone. We're not doing this by ourselves, or just trying to explain to our family members that like this is a viable career option. And it bears fruit, can be difficult to explain to them at times. But like I said, you just keep moving, knowing that like there are more of us out here. So it's so encouraging to be talking to you and be like, oh, my Haitian brother, we out here, we doing it. We are doing it, fam. So great to see. And that's what I'm so excited about. I'm excited for young people coming up to see a bit of themselves, to be like, oh, I can go do that. Like I can go be an actor. I can go be a writer and write something like this, you know, because growing up for us, we didn't see that. So that's what I'm really excited to see.
Well, I want to personally thank you for that, man, because I'm trying to keep it together right now, but it felt very comforting talking to you, you know, about that stuff, because being Haitian, you know, in this field, you know, emotionally, mentally, especially. I understand that the show does tackle the subject of mental health among like Black men and Black Haitians. People think there's a stigma in black communities about mental health. You have not heard the stigma in the Haitian community. You are crazy, or you are what's the other word that they use? You're either crazy or idiot. You know what I mean? Like there's no in between. You know,
right? Absolutely.
So it's in, you know, that this journey. Hollywood media, it's really taxing on your mental health and on emotional stability. You know what I mean? So I'm looking forward to see another Haitian man experiencing those things and feeling like I'm not alone, man.
No, no, absolutely. Absolutely. And that's the other thing, you know, that we're really excited to see too. We're really excited to like tackle mental health, trauma, how trauma exists in the body, how it affects your relationships, you know. Of course, we're doing it in a very comedic way, and we're doing it through entertainment. But at the same time, we do want you to come away with some level of insight about what men go through, or what specifically Black men go through, or what specifically Black immigrant men go through when it comes to relationships, when it comes to trauma, when it comes to mental health, all of that, you know. It's an exploration into that. But yeah.
Are you by any chance tackling the subject of toxic masculinity within the Black culture and Black and Haitian culture?
Yes, absolutely. You know, we Fritz, who's our main character, his father is prominently in the show, right? And is gonna go through his own journey about, you know,
I like that
self-exploration, but also how Fritz's father's toxic masculinity affects how Fritz navigates his relationships.
I like that.
So like there are different themes that we're really tackling here that like I feel like are unique to being a Haitian American man, but at the same time feels very universal and that everyone can relate to it.
My brother, I believe in destiny. I think for myself and the audience that we have, I think this conversation was meant to happen, and I'm thankful that it did.
Absolutely, man.
10 Health begins, actually it premieres on August 11th on AMC All Black, I believe.
Yep, you got it.
Congratulations on all your success. I'm wishing you the best going forward. I will follow your career very closely. And for the people who want to keep track of what you're doing and follow you, where can they find you?
No, absolutely. On Twitter, it's Black Boy Writes, and on Instagram, it's the same, Black Boy Writes, but with a period in between each letter because I'm extra. But
you got to be a little bit.
right. You got to be a little extra. No, and for my production company, Black Boy Writes Media, it's on Instagram as Black Boy Writes Media. Yeah.
All right. Well, Mike, it was a pleasure talking with you. Thank you again for your time. You heard it here, first shifters. Make sure to go check out St. Health on AMC Black.
Yes, man. Et puis that's it.
Et puis that's it. Gauyo, man. Off.
No, absolutely.